Where there is money, there is also greed. Unfortunately, people getting played is now a daily occurrence in the Pokemon hobby. The point of this video is to arm you with some knowledge that will help you in making your own decisions as you go about your Pokemon collecting journey. There's a lot to cover here, so I'll do my best to go over as many scams and as many ways that I have seen people get burned and how to avoid them. I'm Kyle, this is Spin Out Cards. Make sure to like and subscribe. Let's begin. Section 1, Packs, generally speaking. One of the oldest tricks in the scammer playbook, resealing opened packs. The way it works, somebody opens the pack, they sift through for any hits, they remove said hits, they reseal the pack, they sell it to unsuspecting Timmy. Resealing packs is scummy. Just plain and simple, it's like the lowest of the low scam. Buying loose packs anywhere is sketchy, unless it's someone that you know personally or is someone that you've done good business with in the past. Extremely prevalent on platforms like Whatnot and the like. Just do a YouTube search of resealed packs on Whatnot. You'll have plenty of evidence. Always check the reviews if you actually are going to buy from someone on Whatnot or any live service platform. Be patient. Watch some packs being opened. Don't just rush in, see some, oh my God, incredible deal, and just start ripping with this random person on the internet. Let's get into some of the tells of a resealed pack. For packs that you're actually buying in person, you have a little bit more of an advantage. Pay attention to the feel of the pack before you actually purchase it. There are some telltale signs of a pack being resealed. Check for glue where it shouldn't be. Check the crimping on the top and the bottom of the pack. Resealed packs often have crimping that feels uneven or incomplete, like someone hit it with a heat gun and didn't do a perfect job of resealing the actual glue itself. Once you feel it once, you'll have a better understanding of what I'm trying to say, but obviously I'm showing some examples here anyway. Side note here are bogus packs. These are cheap knockoff packs that you would find at like a flea market or some sort of unaffiliated Pokemon store. I'll flash some examples here on the screen just so that you get an idea of what I'm talking about, but they're really easy to identify. The artwork will be wrong. It'll feature the wrong Pokemon for the set. The information on the back of the pack will be incomplete and just off. Also, the crimp will typically look like scissors were used to cut the edge of the pack, like a first grader did it. Pretty easy to spot. Also, a note on vintage packs. Know that if you are buying a loose booster pack of Wizards of the Coast through Neo generation, those are weighable sets. Those packs can be weighed to a level of certainty on whether or not there is a hollow on the inside of it. I'm not going to get into weights in this video. It's just not the same topic. But know that if you see a vintage pack in the wild loose, it's probably been weighed. I would say like 99% of the time it's been weighed. The appeal of the vintage hollow hit is way too hard to ignore for someone who's trying to scam you. If you are going to buy a vintage pack, more power to you. Just buy one that is pretty clearly labeled and weighed ahead of time, and you can even ask the person selling it to you to weigh it in front of you. Never go off of somebody's word. There is a significant price disparity between a light vintage pack and a heavy vintage pack, so it's definitely worth it to make sure that you know what you're actually buying. Section 2, mystery boxes. If you like lighting money on fire, this is your product. There are some halfway decent ones, typically produced by more prevalent YouTube creators where there are established odds, tier lists, and you have an actual idea of what to expect. And those are actually at least somewhat trustworthy and have legitimate expectations. Any of the other ones that you would see on eBay, at Pokemon shows, whatever, the odds are clearly stacked up against you. Someone making a mystery box has zero incentive to see you win in terms of a value perspective. These overpriced mystery boxes often contain the junk that someone can't sell on their own accord, so they throw it in a mystery box and sell it to some unsuspecting Timmy. It's gambling. It plays on the fact that some people are suckers and more inclined for that sort of mystery opening, but there are plenty of horror stories of people getting absolutely demolished, scammed by mystery boxes. So much so that mystery boxes and scamming have basically become synonymous. So in good faith, I cannot recommend these. You're better off just buying the stuff that you actually want and not gambling, plain and simple. Next. Section 3, do some actual research on a single before you actually purchase it. If you're browsing around at a card show and you see a card you want and a sticker with a price on it, don't just automatically assume that that's the market price. There are a few ways that I need to break this down. The first of which is that a card is priced high based on hype or the expectation that a card's value is going to continue to go up, which is a scam. The second way is that most of the time, a card will be priced on the most recent highest sale. And unless you actually check, you won't know that there have been 3, 5, 10, 20 sales at a lower price recently that you, in turn, should then bring into your negotiation for a lower price. The third way is that you should never buy a card from someone who claims that
this card's gonna 10, bro, guaranteed.
this is a really scummy practice where the seller is charging you a higher price, even a PSA 10 price for a raw card. That's bottom of the barrel scam. Do not do business with that person. Walk away. Another thing that is important is to check conditions. Know that the price of a card fluctuates based on conditions. Take your time, be objective, and I've linked a guide to that below. Section 4, be aware of payments and how you go about completing them. My go-tos are Zelle and PayPal goods and services, as well as cash in a lot of circumstances. There are tons of horror stories of payments being canceled and people ultimately getting burned. Cash is always good, but obviously it comes with its own inherent set of risks. Another thing that I wanted to include in this section is pre-order scams. There are, again, a ton of examples of people overpaying or paying inflated prices for a set that hasn't come out yet, only to have their order canceled or a store simply vanish into thin air when it's time for that set to actually ship. Section 5, fake cards are everywhere nowadays. Some of these fakes are easily identified. They won't have any texture, and you can spot them from a mile away. Some fakes are getting harder to spot. The fakes are getting better, and buying from trusted sellers is basically your best bet in eliminating this. New fakes will have texture and appear as nearly a one-to-one to the actual card itself. The newer fakes will have mistakes, but they'll be far more subtle. Weight, symbols, corners, print quality are things to really keep an eye out for. The rule of thumb is if you're holding a card and something feels off, trust your gut, because it's probably right. I've been throwing up some examples of what to look out for, but know that the fakes have gotten so good that people are even getting away with grading them at this point. Unfortunately, it gets even deeper, as buying slabs isn't necessarily a guarantee anymore either. Again, buying from trusted sellers is your best bet to avoid this problem entirely. Just know that it is possible nowadays with all of these modern grading companies for a slab to be cracked open with minimal damage, the 10 card removed, a lower grade card reinserted, and the slab resealed without anyone any the wiser. Super scummy move. Super scummy. But it is out there. It's something that you have to inspect for yourself. When you're looking at a slab, make sure that the centering looks right. There doesn't look like there's any damage on the card itself. It's just something to be thorough about. Section 6, be mindful of your things when you're in a public place. Whether it's your cash or your collection, be mindful of your surroundings. There are so many videos of people being robbed of their cards or their cash at card shows. It's sickening. People are opportunistic. So if you leave your stuff unattended somewhere, it's probably already on somebody's radar to get swiped. Just use common sense here. I had to throw it on the list. Section 7, and it probably deserves its own video that I'll make in the future. Understanding the general price fluctuations as a set is released into the market. The Cliff Notes version is that a set will release in Japan first. It will then make its way into the States, where it will be ripped on Whatnot streams in person at card shows indefinitely. People will rip the booster boxes, they'll pull the chasers, they'll grade those chasers, they'll sell those chasers at super high inflated value. The price of those Japanese cards will stay high until that set generally releases in English, where again, it's rinse and repeat. Tons and tons of packs will be opened, the chasers will be pulled, the chasers will be graded. The cards are always sold at a higher value just because of the scarcity factor as the set first comes out. Then, after the initial infatuation with the shiny new thing, the price will always retrace. People will start looking forward to the next set. It will be established in the community that the hits from this set are less desirable. I've even seen cases where people start paying less because they say the chase cards are too easy to pull. There's a ton of reasons why this happens. I'm including this on this list so that you don't buy a card at the absolute peak of its FOMO. There is no reason to pay top freaking dollar for a card that, if you are patient, is going to come down in price some. If you are patient, that card will fall into a buying category that is far more attractive and reasonable than some crazy overhyped price when the set first releases. Bottom line is, watch your timing of purchases of chase cards from modern sets. I'm realizing as I'm recording this video that there will definitely need to be a follow-up video to this one with some more tips and tricks, but I do feel like I got a bunch of good advice compactly into one video. Let me know in the comments some other things to watch out for. I love to hear everybody's input on scams, always. I hope you learned something. Make sure you like and subscribe on your way out, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.